Welcome, friends, to another exciting episode of A VGM Journey. And I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we're playing in today's show is Hades Gonna Hate from the game Afterparty. It was composed by Scntfc, which I believe that's how you pronounce that, and it was requested by Muddle Madness. So thank you, Muddle Madness, for that request. We've got a fun and exciting show for you guys this week with a few different requests from a few different VGM journeymen. But before I get into that, I do have a little bit of top of the show business, and it's regarding the Patreon for the show. After getting some feedback, I decided to get rid of the $5 tier and just pretty much combine that with the $3 tier, so you'll get both a shout out and access to a VGM side quest. So I'm hoping that that's going to be a little more appealing to everyone, and I think it's fair. I kind of realized that what I was doing was just a tad bit unfair, so I just kind of want to right some wrongs on that front. But let's not dwell on it too much. Let's listen to some pretty awesome video game music. Coming up next, we got a request from Chris Murray, and he wanted me to play Sophisticated Fight from The Legends of Heroes 6, Sora no Kiseki, and it was originally composed by Wataru Ishibashi and arranged by Noriyuki Kamikura. track that you just listened to, that was Sophisticated Fight from the game The Legends of Heroes 6, Sora no Kiseki, and it was originally composed by Wataru Ishibashi and arranged by Noriyuki Kamikura. Oh, and it was also requested by Chris Murray. So thank you, Chris, for that request. It seems like every time I get these Nihon Falcom track requests, it kind of drives me a little crazy, just a little bit, and it's mainly because I know next to nothing about these games, but I know quite a handful of people that really love these soundtracks, such as, well, Chris Murray, and also Purnell from Rhythm and Pixels, and Jason Ariola from Rock Out With Your Card Out, and I will admit, this is some pretty amazing stuff. And this specific track sounds like it should be in Mario Kart 8, especially with all that sax, that saxy sax. Ooh, that's the saxiest of all saxes. And I feel like I'm kind of just doing you a little bit of a disservice, Chris, by not talking too much about this game. But I will say that this was a pretty amazing request. And I hope that you request more tracks like this. So, once again, Mr. Murray, thank you for that request. This next track, I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty familiar with, and it's a really good one. And it's another request, this time coming from The Last Rican. He wanted me to play a track from Katamari Damacy. This is Lonely Rolling Star, and thanks to individual credits, this specific track was composed by Yoshihito Yano.
「
welcome back. And that track that you just listened to, that was Lonely Rolling Star from the game Katamari Damacy. It was composed by Yoshihito Yano, and it was requested by The Last Rican. So thank you, Last Rican, for that request. I have recently got to try out Katamari Damacy because the Katamari Damacy re-roll, which is the HD remaster of Katamari Damacy, recently came out on Xbox Game Pass. And I've always wanted to try the game out, so I was able to try it out a little bit, and I had some fun with it. And I always knew that the game was pretty weird, but I wasn't prepared on how weird it is. That and also the soundtrack is really amazing. I mean, I was pretty familiar with the soundtrack already, and that it seems like every single track is like a classic track. And this cutesy, poppy Japanese vocals singing, it's not exactly my favorite thing in the world, but this track works, and I think it's pretty nice. And Katamari Damacy is a game where you pretty much roll up a bunch of objects, and that you start off small, and then as you roll stuff up, your Katamari gets bigger, and as it gets bigger, it could start to roll up bigger objects, and it just kind of snowballs from there. I'm not sure when this track plays in the game, because I've only played the first level, and actually, to be honest, I don't even remember the song that was playing on that. It definitely wasn't this. So, I'm hoping to play that game some more, and I'll eventually get to the part where this song plays. I want to say thank you, Last Weekend, for that request. This next track is going to be our last request of the episode, and this is coming from Damian Beckles. Yeah, he wanted me to play something from Chicory, A Colorful Tale. The track is Probably Ancient Evil, and it was composed by Lena Raine. That track that you just listened to, that was Probably Ancient Evil from the game Chicory, A Colorful Tale. It was composed by Lena, Raine, and it was requested by Damien Beckles. So thank you, Damien, for that request. This track, and this game just kind of came out of nowhere for me. It somehow fell under the radar. So I didn't even hear this game until getting this request. And I will say that this song sounds very similar to Lena Raine's work on Celeste. And I decided to check out some gameplay for this game, and I will say that it looks really cute. It's a top-down adventure game where you play as this dog who has a magical brush and you paint the world with that brush. And it has this coloring book style to it where it's just black and white and you fill in the colors. And it just looks very cute. I think it's a game that my fiance Carly would probably more than likely dig. So I think this would totally be up her alley. And this track has this nice, energetic darkness to it, which I think in hindsight, I probably should have followed the intro play-in track with this track. So it just totally goes well together. It's like peanut butter and more peanut butter. So much peanut butter. And I know that everyone loves the soundtrack Celeste, and I haven't really heard too much about Chicory or anyone really talk about this game. I know it just recently came out, but I'm sure that it will come around and people will really enjoy it and want to talk about it. But like I said, it kind of flew under the radar. And I think this is one of these soundtracks that, or at least I think, it's probably going to be amazing and that more people should know about it. So thank you, Damien, for that request. We're going to go back to the 16-bit era with a Super Famicom track. The track is Airport from the game Shin, Kido, Senki, Gundam Wing, Endless Duel, and it was composed by Haruo, Ohashi, and Hiroyuki Iwatsuki. track that you just listened to, that was Airport from the game Shin, Kido, Senki, Gundam Wing, Endless Duel, and it was composed by Haruo, Ohashi, and Hiroyuki Iwatsuki. That's going to just about do it for the show this week. If you like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcatching service that you can think of. I'm more than likely going to be on there. You can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com, and you can also check us out on Twitter at vgmjourney. We also have a Discord server for the show, which I will provide a link for that in the show notes, where you can hang out with your fellow VGM journeymen and talk about games, music, and even look at some cool art. We also have a new and improved Patreon for the show, which, if you could throw $3 my way, you can gain access to a monthly Patreon-only bonus show called a VGM Side Quest, which I host with my fiancée Carly, and it also gains you a shout-out at the end of every show. Just like the following people: Ed Wilson from VG Embassy, Scott McElhone, and John Harrington, John Regan, David Fleming, and Jesse Moore from Game That Tune. So thank you guys for your pledges. I'm going to play things out with one more song, and this song was kind of part of a poll that I had on Facebook and Twitter. I didn't exactly go into the details for this, but I asked everyone if they wanted to listen to an original Game Boy Color track or its much smooth modern arrangement. It wound up tying on Facebook, but the modern smooth arrangement blew the original out of the water by quite a bit on Twitter. So we're going to play that version out, which you guys are probably wondering what track that is, and that is Sky from the game Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. It was composed by Jake Kaufman. So have a good week, everyone.